Hi, and welcome to Uncensored Hot Femme. Can't believe this is episode 9, and I'm calling it Stay. Don't calm down, stay. Can you feel the diamond spine in that statement, in the staying moment? And I'm doing like this, like the meatballs and the spaghetti of the dish, like Italiano. I love it when your body's just like speaking for you, and you're like, okay, what's happening here? Just need to narrate it in the real-time movement. And for me, it's that moment when we want to abandon ourselves. How can we stay? And we are going to explore this today because if you are here, you are the kind of woman that still are struggling with building the bridge between the different parts of yourself and your internal world, where you are both magnetic, sensual, erotic, but also cut edge, leading, directing, and how you can be all at once. All at once, because most people, not only women, most people are flipping between one piece into another piece and have a really hard time to integrate and melt into everything, every part of themselves, and pull at them like in the right moment. And this is what we are going to explore today. So, welcome here. If you're new here, please go back in time and see all my other episodes of me going full on into my crazy woman, my untouchable woman, and all the different pieces that have happened here. Me sharing when I was caged, uh, metaphorically, and all the things that have been coming up so far in these episodes. My name is Anna. I'm the owner of the Royal Queendom, and I am in a big expansion myself right now and in my own staying power. And yeah, that is truly, truly what is making you build the right kind of pressure and lead it directed, how you are both embodied and aware. And when I'm speaking of these words, it's like my mind is like, oh my God, this is so fucking boring. But it's important, especially if you are the kind of woman that's super hypersensitive and emotional and chaotic. And that is a fucking golden trait that you have. Your creativity lives there. You are alive and you are like super flowy and what we want to call feminine, and yet you collapse into your so-called femininity and you want to activate, build, stay in the moments where you want to abandon yourself, avoid yourself, or run the fuck away. We all know the survival patterns. And that's not the problem here. You're super aware, you're smart, you're educated, you've learned, you've read, you've done the somatic work, you've done all the fucking work, and still you are struggling. Let's not be acting as if shit doesn't hit the fan. And we want to collapse the time. And for me, like these concepts have been so hard to fully understand. And when we just anchor in the depth of our beingness, when we anchor in our pussy, when we are staying in that pussy power, when we are allowing ourselves to be alive in the moment with what wants to come out and still can contain it just enough to hit the sweet spot, that is so delicious. That is where we want to be, so we don't get motivated. We start and we stop and we leave, we run, we avoid because I wanted to get paid, and I don't want, I don't just wanted to get paid. I wanted to be in your erotic wealth era. I want you to turn on your fucking pussy, be so fucking unapologetic with who you are, where you don't have to perform your power, you don't have to see what works and go into performance mode and amplify that specific thing, like as if, it's like eating candy. And you know what happens when we eat a lot of fucking candy? We want to fucking throw up. That is not the sweet spot, but we also don't want to go into restriction and like making ourselves so tight and like, oh my God, now I don't know what to say and I don't want to speak and I don't want to be in this moment because, I'm so fucking uncomfortable. But like, how can we breathe into the moment? Because you already know how to get attention, you already know how to be magnetic, you know all those things. You know endurance, you know resilience, like you know all the things, and you are in all the things, but you still are wondering, how can I be in it all at once? How can I hold all the contradictions that is being me? And how can I turn up the volume as I please? How can I be in mastery of my magnetism? You know, that you want that. And that is the difference between the woman who either collapses or like super live, super magnetic, know how to get attention, but you use that seductive power in all the wrong ways to tease men, although that can be juicy, to, you know, just have a good time. And when it comes to use it in a directed, powerful way, you get lost. And you dilute yourself, you overthink, like, is this too much? Is this not enough? Am I really allowed to want this? And you are, and you know you are. You see, money to me is freedom. I'm seeing a man and he wanted to take me to Barcelona recently. He was sitting there showing me all the stuff and like wanted to pay everything. And I know in the virtual space, we get so like, wow, look at this woman. She's getting all the trips and she's so courted and pursued. And like, yeah. And my thing has been to talk about all the bullshit I've had around men as if that was the only thing, but it's not. You know what felt super powerful for me? In the moment when he wanted to take me to Barcelona. Did I like this that I have men that want to take me on a full paid trip to Barcelona? A full fucking yes. Like a full fucking yes on that. Do I like to be pursued? Of course I do. But you know what tastes even better? And here comes the fucking Italian chef's kiss again. That is that I don't have to say yes, even to the man I like, because I'm in my own power. I have my own money. I know how to travel and I travel with class. So it's like I don't have to lower my standards a single bit. And here's the shift in that too. Because I've always been really so much for tasting it, feeling it from within. Because the truth is that any experience that can seem so high touch gets really fucking flat unless we are tasting with our full self. unless we are in our power and in our eroticism all at once. And that is what makes you the most dangerous woman on this earth, and also very seductive. Where you are seductive and not abandoning yourself. And that is the sweet spot. And that is how I connected with it, with everything I have been doing this past years, with my sexuality, with my body, with the somatics, into money. And trust me, I'm like, oh my God, should I really be talking about money? But to me, money is just an energy. To me, the channel is the same. And when you take the lessons and turn them into leverage, when you allow yourself to be so direct and stop worrying how other people perceive you, you are untouchable. And you are not untouchable because you are cold. You are untouchable because you are in full self-possession. You are in full ownership. And you know that no one gets access to you unless you say, granted. Granted. Not the clients, not the men, not no anyone. And I wanted to get more selfish, more arrogant, more just so allowing yourself to be like, you know what? It's a privilege to breathe the air that I breathe because I am the choice maker of my life. I make the decisions. And here comes the standards where you are avoiding yourself and where you are leaking your power. Because where are you getting bribed? And by bribed, I don't mean trips to Barcelona, but I'm meaning where do you get bribed? Or where do you give yourself away because you are afraid? You want something in the external, which is not wrong because we are absolutely connecting to people in our external world. So it's like not an and or, it's like an and also everything. But you know the moment where you leave yourself. That self-abandonment is what makes you feel powerless. It makes you feel shame. It makes you feel like you cannot trust yourself. And you are trading yourself off. You're sacrificing, you are compromising, and we are not doing anything of that. No, nothing of that. And the most untouchable women are the women who can be so in herself, staying. So when I say we don't leave, that doesn't mean we don't leave a space because I've left many spaces that were out of integrity and that were just so much fuck ups. And I've been a fuck up many times myself. And the moment is about staying with yourself. So you not go back, you do not go over your own knowing, you do not let yourself get hooked into stuff where you leak your power. And that is so important because people talk about confidence, but self-trust is where the power lies. And we want to be in that sweet spot. with the meatballs and the spaghetti. Oh God. So I'm going to tell you about something that happened tonight. I have been working all day, creating new content and just like, how can I bring this full circle? How can I make this somatic, visceral thing articulated in a way that can, yeah, be the architecture where it captures the dark, the light, all the contrast, where it captures the soft sensuality, the pleasure, the energetics, and the dominance, the cutthroat leadership, like direction, everything, the movement, the stillness. And I was thinking like about how I say we autocorrect in real time. The choice maker autocorrects in real time. And I was thinking about my own content. And I was like writing with my AI and I was like, it would be like me saying full on open and honestly on my Instagram. Like you can see how we move and autocorrect in real time and how so many different parts can come out and it's so incongruent. Like, check my Instagram, like, scroll my feed. And what happened was that I had a full on blown turn on moment. And I was like, this is feeling good. This is tasting good. And I even feel the tingles right now in my toes and in my pussy. And even more, I could feel it over my womb and up to my solar plexus, this warm expansion and the tingles. And I was like, why am I feeling so turned on right now? Because it's like I've said in one of the episodes, or maybe several episodes, is you are not afraid of being seen, you are afraid of being known. So we post something and we get scattered, or yeah, we don't know how to hold our full selves. And we do not know how to hold ourselves in the drop. So when I thought about this tiny little moment that was not exclusive in any way, about when I wanted to say, you know what, scroll my feed. Like, look at me. Look at all of me. And me knowing that I am so anchored and unapologetic in who I am that I can be so true and real that if someone checks my Instagram and is like, what the fuck is this? I don't really care. And I'm not saying that from a place like, I don't care. It's like, I truly don't give a shit. And there is no more liberating thing than to autocorrect, ongoing autocorrect, micro shifts. That's where the power lies. And that's in the staying in the moment, the sensation, holding the pressure, and not needing to direct the audience. And I know that you can feel that inside of you. I know that you can feel how expanding that is. So that is the sweet spot. So if you haven't checked out my Instagram, if you somehow found yourself or your way into my Spotify or my YouTube, which I'm super proud of, then you should go check out my feed and just feel into what it triggers in you and like see me fucking autocorrect and shift in real time because that is what I help my clients with. That is the holding power, the staying power, the being in that drop. And out of everything, out of anything that I want for people or for women, for you, is to being so fucking rich that the people that you used to lower yourself for can't even reach high enough to lick your feet. Not because you're rich per se, but because you are untouchable. You are living at a such high standard and high frequency that they are like missing you. And I wanted to really take that in because having money and being anchored in your wealth are two different things because your eros and your wealth are so deeply intertwined. And your wounds and your desires are the same thing. Like that's what it is. The duality, the separation, and the wholeness. It all exists at once, at the same time. And where it's no longer a concept, is simply who you are. You simply are fully inhabiting who you are and then directing it, activating, holding, directing, open receiving. Like you know all you know all of this shit, but now we're fucking making something big, like blowing it all up. And I'm all in for it. I've set a real fucking huge goal for the rest of 2026. And there is nothing like, how will I create this? I know it will happen. That knowing, mm, yes, is there. And I'm all in for it every single moment. And you are too. So drop into my Instagram and watch out for what is coming because I am going to draw the sweet spot for you. Bye.